Check, 1, 2. I know. I don't ever.
Is that better? All right.
Oh, so I get it. I get it.
Yeah,
You know,
I never heard anything.
I didn't either. Ready? Mm-hmm. We're good?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm sorry, yeah.
No, that's fine. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Sarpy County Board of Equalization meeting. Today's November 2nd, 2021. It's 3 o'clock. Copy of Nebraska Opens Meeting Act rule are on the north wall of the boardroom. We have 4 commissioners present today. Commissioner Burmeister, Warren, Mixon, and Kelly. Commissioner Klug is absent. We have our County Administrator, Dan Hoynes, our County Clerk and Register of Deeds, Deb Houghtaling. We also have our County Assessor, Dan Pittman, here.
Dan Talikas is here as
Oh,
well.
and I'm sorry, I didn't even recognize you, Dan. And we have our Deputy County Treasurer, Dan Talikas, here as well. If you would, please silence your phones and stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Two items on the consent.
Motion to approve. Second.
A motion by Warren, second by Mixon. Discussion? Please vote.
Ayes 4, absent Klug.
Okay, on the regular agenda, we have 2 items. 5.1 is the first one. It's a public hearing for the removal of a tax exemption for parcels 0104-69095. Dan Pittman, County Assessor.
Good afternoon. This parcel had been owned for many years and operated by Salvation Army. When Salvation Army sold the parcel, they sold to a neighbor that was a non-tax exempt entity. And since it transferred before levy date, it can go back on the tax rolls retroactive to January 1st. So that's what the request is.
Okay, questions for Dan? Anybody, this is a public hearing, anybody want to come address the board on this matter? Okay, I don't see anyone coming forward. Close the public hearing. Just comments, questions at all? Thanks for the rundown on that from the county attorney's office. Take a motion then.
Move to approve.
I'll second it. Motion by Burmeister, second by Kelly. Discussion? Please vote.
Ayes 4, absent Klug.
Okay, and Resolution 387 is item 5.2. That's a confession of judgment in the matter of Dan Pittman versus the Sarpy County Board of Equalization and Brian J. Ault and Shellie K. Ault, Tax Equalization and Review Commission, TERC, case number 18A0080.
I really don't have any comments on this, but Mr. Engler made a trip here, so he probably would like to.
Yeah, and I told Mr. Engler to show up at 3:30. I forgot this was on the agenda. So thanks for being here, Mr. Engler. Come forward. Appreciate your timeliness, too.
Good afternoon, thank you. Tim Engler from Lincoln, appointed counsel for Sarpy County Board of Equalization. Just quickly background, this appeal arises out of the tax year 2018. We had a hearing before TERC back in November of 2019 on the Feller property. The Feller decision came down earlier this year, reversed the Board of Equalization. We recommended that there were 10 other properties that are similarly situated to that the board probably should not incur the cost of appealing or contesting those appeals. The Ault property came up because it was scheduled by TERC. They're the ones that scheduled it. It's a little more confusing because there's two appeals involving this property. One is the ag portion of it, and one is the improvements. And so we don't represent the Alts on either of those, and they do want to challenge the improvements still, so they still want to have a hearing on that. But we're recommending that the board confess judgment on the agricultural or the land values because of the Feller decision. So that's what this resolution gives us the authority to do that. It's a little more complicated. We may have to bifurcate the proceeding and file separate pleadings, but the resolution is broad enough to give us that authority. So I sent you a short memo yesterday that kind of outlined that. If anyone has any questions, I'm more than willing to respond.
Questions? Okay. Comments?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you. Motion by Burmeister, second by Warren. Discussion? Please vote.
Okay. Ayes, Burmeister, Mixon, and Warren. Abstain, Kelly. Absent, Klug.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, I want to put the Board of Equalization into recess and come back after our county board to do the exec session. So we'll move on to the county board meeting when you're ready.
Okay, give me just 1 minute here.
I'm showing 3:06 for that.
Okay, I'm ready. Go ahead.
Okay, welcome everybody to the county board meeting. Today is November 2nd. It's 3:06 p.m. Nebraska Opens Meeting Act rules are on the north wall. We've got 4 commissioners present along with our county administrator and county clerk and register of deeds. Commissioners' comments. Commissioner Burmeister?
I have none, thanks.
No comment.
Nothing, sir.
Okay. Good. We've got 10 items on the consent agenda today. Are there any items any of the commissioners want to see moved? If not, please make a motion to approve as published.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Warren and a second by Commissioner Mixon. Discussion. Please vote.
I don't have a screen, Deb.
Okay, are you an A?
Yeah.
Let me just fill you in. Hold on. Okay, A's 4, absent, Klug.
All right.
There you go. Okay.
Okay, on the regular agenda, we've got 5 items. The first one is Resolution 373, Carlson West Provanda Architects. It's a contract agreement in the amount of $81,500 for our JJC and a juvenile system evaluation and improvement study, and to obtain pre-architectural services, including the review and benchmarking of existing conditions and services, workshopping trends and best practices, forecasting future capacity and space needs, and reviewing the options for funding sources and the development of options moving forward. Beth Garber, County Purchasing and Capital Projects Manager.
Thank you, Chairman. So the proposal from Champlain Carlson West Provandra is for the Juvenile Justice Master Plan update. The total proposal is $81,500. Judge O'Neill is here for a brief comment and to answer any questions that you might have. I can also answer any questions that you might have.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good
My
afternoon.
name is Bob
Judge.
O'Neill, and I'm one of the 2 separate juvenile court judges here in Sarpy County. The only comments I would make is I'm very happy to be able to work again with Carlson Provandra and Chin and Associates, Karen Chin and Associates. Sarpy County has a long history in juvenile justice planning with these organizations. They know our people, they know our county, and they know the history of what juvenile justices look like in Sarpy County and how we move forward. So very pleased with this proposed contract. And I'm here to answer any questions if you have any.
No, we look forward to getting the results of their study, and certainly make sure you're invited to the outbrief when we get it.
Very good. Thank you very
You
much.
bet, Judge. Thanks for coming over. Any other comments or concerns? Motion, please.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Burmeister, second by Mixon. Discussion?
I can't
Angie,
make
are you
the mo- It says guest, so I don't know why.
Well, hold on. Okay,
I
so,
went ahead and got it for you.
Sounds good.
okay, are you gonna move this, Don, then?
No, she's got it.
Well, you got it under your name, though.
I know, well, okay, that's fine.
You wanna just go ahead?
Motion by Kelly, second by Mixon.
Scott, you know,
Discussion? Please vote.
Angie, are you an A?
I'm an A.
Okay. A's for, absent Klug.
Okay, 5.2 is Resolution 370, awarding the low bid to Power Tech for Sheriff's Office generator project for the facilities management in the amount of $130,365. Beth?
Excited to bring this project to you. This is an upgraded generator project for the Sheriff's Office off of 84th and Platteview. After review by Purchasing and Facilities Management, it's recommended the bid be awarded to Power Tech for $130,365. This includes the base bid of the upgraded generator, Alternate 1, which is a software for upgraded lighting controls, which helps control the lighting from a computer, and Alternate 2, installing a portable generator docking system, which helps connect a portable generator to the generator in case something happens to that generator. The bid submitted is within the 2022 budgeted amount, and estimated start date is March 1st, 2022, with a completion date of April 15th, 2022. And I can answer any questions that you might have.
Questions for Beth?
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Warren and a second by Commissioner Mixon. Discussion. Please vote.
I'm an A.
A's for, absent Klug.
5.3 is Resolution 376, awarding the lowest responsible bid to CCS Presentation Systems for the boardroom audiovisual upgrade in the amount of $126,396.11. Beth?
All right, so as you know, we've had some audiovisual challenges with this room. We did do an upgrade previously, but it was just a partial upgrade, which created some concerns. This is a full upgrade of the boardroom audiovisual system, and it's recommended that the bid be awarded to the lowest responsible bidder, CCS Presentation Systems, for $126,396.11 for the base bid. Option 1, which is the side displays, and option 2, preventative maintenance for 5 years. The low bid was $123,285.78. We did ask the low bidder for additional references. However, those references were provided 5 days late and did not match the proposed work or work environments of this boardroom. So we recommend approval.
So this is for side. say
So
that again.
option 1 would include side visual assistance for the audience to be able to see better.
Nothing for like bandwidth or any of the problems that we had like with Zoom meetings and those kind of.
So IS is here, they can talk about that, but the system will support a Zoom type interface.
Nothing to make us look younger.
I don't know how you make you look better. Sorry.
Darn. That's
Nothing can
really
make
hard
you
for me to
look
answer.
younger.
More attractive and handsome, right?
So
Yeah.
by the fact that the references you got weren't what you needed, is there an issue with that?
Say that again.
Is there an issue with the fact that the references that you did finally get were not the ones that you needed?
So that was with the low bidder. The lowest responsible bidder, we have worked with CCS. They did the courtroom upgrades very, very successfully.
All right.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Warren, second by Mixon. Discussion? Please vote.
I'm an I.
Are you offline again?
No, it's stuck on move. I don't know, something.
Okay, I've
doesn't
got you in,
work
so
good.
you're an A. Okay, A is for an absent
Doesn't want to
clue.
play today.
Okay, 5.4 is Resolution 377, Professional Service Agreement with Kutak Rock LLP to provide assistance and compliance services in response to the federal legislation enacted by Congress related to the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, ARPA, and other proposed legislative targeting infrastructure, social services, and economic development. Bill Conley, County CFO.
Good afternoon. This resolution authorizes us to enter into an agreement with Kutak Rock to assist us with the ARPA, compliance with the ARPA funding that we have received, the $36.3 million, which has pretty significant regulations, and we want to make sure as a county that we're compliant with that. I want to take a few minutes, since we're talking about ARPA, and give you a little update on ARPA. So if I can get them to switch the screen. There we go. Try that again. Okay. So I want to give you a little update on ARPA, and we can come back to the resolution if that's okay.
Sure.
So what's happened, in May, we received the first half of our $36.3 million, a little over $18.1 million. What has happened since then, we've put together a website. We're communicating to the public of what is ARPA and what does it mean. We have started to identify, excuse me, I'm on the wrong. We put together a website. We formed a task force, so we have 7 members. 2 of the board members are on that task force. That task force will be establishing priorities, reviewing the funding requests, and making recommendations for use of ARPA funds to the board. One of the things the task force has done has been to adopt the GFOA, the Government Finance Officers Association, guiding principles for use of ARPA, which I'm reading are not only the GFOAs, but really almost everybody you look at in terms of what they're recommending you do with the ARPA funds. And there's really 3 things. Really primarily focus the ARPA funds on non-recurring projects so that you don't have a cliff funding problem down the road. So points 1 and 2 really deal with that. Avoid creating new programs or add-ons to existing programs. Avoid hiring new people because once that funding rolls off, then you'll have a funding challenge for continuing those operations. And to invest in critical infrastructure is particularly part of what ARPA is all about. We just concluded during the month of October a process where we asked the community for them to request ARPA funds. And so I'll talk a little bit more about that on the next slide, but we did receive 20 requests from the public, and the amounts were north of $23 million just in that category. So we got a lot of input and a lot of requests. We have continued to evaluate internal uses for the ARPA funds within the county, and we asked elected officials and department chairs, department heads to provide requests, which they did. So we have a large number of Sarpy County related projects. We continue to monitor the regulations from the Treasury Department and others. Commissioner Warren made me aware of something that I was not aware of, which the House very quickly passed an amendment, the Senate passed an amendment to the ARPA bill that'll provide some additional flexibility for the use of ARPA funds. In our case, we would be able to use an additional $10.8 million toward governmental services and an additional $10 million toward transportation projects, basically road projects. So that'd be, if you used all of it, $20.8 million of our 36 could be used in those buckets. So that's a pretty significant change. The House is expected to take that up very shortly. So far, and earlier today, you approved 200,000, but we have committed a total of 308,000 of ARPA funds, so less than 1% has been spent at this point. Most of that has been to, with our partner Lift Up Sarpy for rent assistance and other direct assistance to citizens of the county. And as reported over the weekend in the World Herald on another story, we have no plans to utilize any of the ARPA funds for premium pay to essential workers. So here's what a summary of where we're at in terms of the requests. A total of $71.6 million of items have been identified as potential ARPA projects. You can see one of those, and I talked about this from the very beginning, that we can complete the funding for the correctional center project through through various aspects of the project. Like the ARPA funds can cover HVAC and any social distancing activities that we're doing with that project. We need $13 million to round out the funding for that project, so we need to try to identify that and get that as part of our ARPA spending. We've put in a placeholder for road projects, some internal sewer projects, internal meaning they're not part of the sewer agency. These are sewers that we already operate. The JJC expansion and design is in there as a placeholder. And then we have $11.5 million of other Sarpy County requests. As I mentioned, 20 organizations submitted funding requests for a total of $23 million. So the grand total of requests, $71.6 million, nearly double our planned $36.3 million that we will receive through next May. So finally, where are we at in terms of next step? The ARPA task force will reconvene and review the funding requests, obtain additional information. We'll evaluate those requests against the ARPA guidelines and the GFOA principles that we've established and adopted, and recommend to this board the funding for the first half, probably the first half or more of the funds received. So that is, I guess, kind of the ARPA update. On the agenda item today, it's important that as much as ARPA has been a part-time job for Jenny Rock and myself, we do not claim to be experts, and the rules are pretty precise. And what we want to do with QTech Rock is really make sure that we have a case for any of the expenditures that we make with the ARPA funds, that it complies with the U.S. Treasury Department regulations. We've accounted for the ARPA funds in a separate fund, so they are separate. They will be separate on our audit report this year as well, and for the next few years. So with that, I would take any questions you have on this agenda item or on ARPA in general.
I just want to thank you and Jenny, Bill, for all your hard work on this. It's tough decision making, and we obviously now have more requests than there is money there, but it's important that we weigh all the decisions, I think, as a committee and as a board, and we appreciate that you guys have done the heavy lift on going through that stack of documents, so I appreciate your hard work.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Warren, a second by Commissioner Burmeister. Any further discussion? Please vote.
Ayes 4, absent Klug.
Okay. Last item on the regular agenda is Resolution 380, vacation of Pat Circle and parts of lots 3 and 4 located in the Highway 31 and I-80 Business Park, number 1. The applicant's Himes Group LLC. Andrea Gosnell Parker, Deputy County Attorney.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. This is the last step of the vacation process for Pat Circle that will come before you as the board. Prior to this point, we've received the application, verified the electors. You have directed the county engineer to perform a study, which they have done and provided their recommendation. Notice of a public hearing was published for 3 consecutive weeks prior to the public hearing that was held last week. And today, resolution for vacation is before you for you to determine whether or not to approve the vacation.
Questions for Andrea?
Is it a paid vacation? Sorry.
Make a motion to approve Resolution 380.
Second.
Motion by Kelly, second by Burmeister. Discussion? Please vote.
Ayes 4, absent Klug.
You know, I'm going to throw another audible here, and I'm going to recess the county board meeting and go back and pick up the exec session so we can get Mr. Engler on his way home. He's got to drive back to Lincoln, so
All right, hold on.
go into recess on the board.
Okay, hold on just a minute. And you're going to go back now to the executive session?
Yes.
Okay. Gotta find it.
Jim, can-
Okay, we're ready.
Okay.
Ready?
Can
I'll
you
do
got
it. Yeah.
Thanks.
For the protection of the public interest, I move we go into executive session to discuss, what was that? Back up. Litigation update.
Second. I have a motion by Mixon and a second by Kelly to go into executive session to discuss litigation. Discussion? Please vote.
Ayes 4, absent Klug.
Okay, it is now 3:26. We will go into executive session where our discussion will be restricted to a litigation update.
Okay, hold on. I gotta get you shut down.
Not yet,
Okay,
probably.
okay, you're good.
Oh, this, yeah, Angie, yeah.
You're ready.
Okay. It's now 3:37 at 3:26. We went into executive session where our discussion was restricted to a litigation update. I need a motion to return to the regular session.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mixon, second by Burmeister. Discussion? Please vote.
I don't have a screen now.
You don't have one?
It's just,
It's a gremlin. It's
Yeah.
rolling up and down the dais
Okay,
here.
how about Ayes 4, absent Klug?
Okay.
yeah.
All agenda items have been addressed as published. The Board of Equalization is adjourned.
Yeah.
We just need
Josh Sharvant.
Hold on.
Josh
Sharvant.
come back in.
Okay, now we're going back to the other meeting. Okay.
Do. Thanks.
It's going to tell us that we've got record. Record jobs,
Okay.
record low unemployment,
Yeah, you could do it.
and we can't do anything about it because
Yeah.
we can't get any work. But let me ask a question.
You could do.
Warrant Highway 370.
I think we're good. Thank you.
Study when Amazon put that building, those lights were up pretty quick. Something new.
Ready?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, last item on the agenda is our SCEDC update. Josh Sharbat, Business Development Manager.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon. Have some good news to share today with reports, so I'm going to be kind of jumping all over the place, so just a heads up. But another great quarter. I know just to kind of talk about permits, plats, in permit valuations, we are on record to beat every year, to have the best year in all of those categories. So just to kind of illuminate that, Our best previous building permit valuation for a full year was 2019, and that was $1.5 billion. You can see through 3 quarters, we're already over $2 billion in building permit valuation in the county. Also on track to beat 2020's record of single-family housing permits. We have 999 to date. In 2020, we had 1,121. So anticipating beating those. Some might be a little close is in regards to multifamily permits. So the record was 745 in 2018. To date, we have 543. So 1 or 2 decent-sized multifamily projects could certainly surpass that 745. And then in regards to single-family housing platted lots, in 2017 we had kind of a pretty high jump up. We had 2,682. To date we have 1,454 this year, so that might be the one that we don't hit. But other than that, it's been an incredibly productive, 3 quarters with all of those indicators that we track. Also, just kind of on the back of the sheet where our top commercial projects permitted in the 3rd quarter, it's good to see we have each of the communities represented in the top 10. I know sometimes it seems like all of our projects happen in one spot, but this past quarter we had large projects across the county, so that's great to see. Jumping on to labor force statistics, so this is certainly the top of everyone's mind lately. You can see September 2021, we had a 1.3% unemployment rate here in Sarpy County. So that works out to about just under 1,300 folks that are counted as unemployed. I think that's the lowest that the county's ever had. I believe the state, the past month was the tied for the lowest they've ever recorded. You look at the Omaha Metro, it's at about 2.3%. So breaking that out, that's about 11,100 people that were on, that were counted as unemployed. If you go on Indeed, the job search website, you can find over 25,000 jobs listed, and you can find over 11,000 jobs listed at over $17.50 an hour. So there are a lot of jobs out there, and there are not a lot of people out there to fill those jobs. But also just kind of put it more in perspective, I looked back at September 2019. So our labor force was, trying to get some pre-COVID numbers to compare this to, our labor force was 950 less in September 2019, or excuse me, it was more, so we are 950 less this past month. But our employment is about 350 higher, so that's pretty consistent for those kind of quarters compared 2021 to 2019, where we have a lower labor force but higher employment. So just kind of showing how tight that is. And I think a lot of people say that, a lot of the folks we've been listening to say that some of the factors there is a lot of folks retired. You have some people that are staying home to take care of kids, or some people that are just staying home to kind of figure out what they want to do. And also, this is more anecdotes. We're hearing that maybe high schoolers aren't going out and getting the kind of school year jobs just because of COVID. When you're in those, grocery stores, restaurants, those are pretty high transmission areas. At least they were. So that's something that we've been kind of hearing, but I don't necessarily have any data to back that up yet. But jumping over to project activity. So we landed 2 projects. So like I mentioned, we have 1,300 right now that are unemployed. We landed a project that's going to bring 685 jobs. So it's a kind of a customer service data entry call center type outfit. So one of the reasons we were selected over some other cities is that we traditionally had some of those jobs. So I think that's about the first customer service project that we've landed in a couple years, at least since I've been around. But they said they're going to pay market rates, so it'll be interesting to see what those wages eventually come out to try and recruit almost 700 individuals. We also landed the R&R Building 4, so they pulled their building permit there. In the 3rd building, Fat Brain Toys has their fulfillment center in there, and then there's a cheerleading school. So the 3rd building's already filled up. I'm sure shortly here, once the 4th building's ready to get leases signed, that'll fill up in no time, and then hopefully we'll see their 2nd development moving forward.
Did you say R&R?
Yes.
So I was wondering why Papillion was at 78 million. Was that one of them, or?
In regards to?
With regards to building permit valuations?
I don't see it on this past quarter's list.
So what constitutes that 78 million that Papillion had? That's a pretty high number.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if it's a lot of housing, because I know in the top 10, they had a 15 million project, and then down the list a little bit, there's a 3 million, and then 1.8, and then all below a million, so
Okay.
I'm guessing it's a lot of housing.
It's not R&R then, no? What's
No.
R&R's valuation going to be?
I think we have that capital investment at, let's see if we have it here. Oh, do I have it? So we have a total between the two projects of 20 million, so I actually can find that in an old presentation.
That's okay.
Oh, okay, but I think, here, let's see if it might be right here. 12 million capital investment for R&R, that building.
Okay.
So, and then kind of on that subject, we're seeing a lot of manufacturing and warehouse distribution projects come through. So we had 7 new to market projects. I think 5 of those were manufacturing. The 2 were transportation/warehousing. So we're getting kind of seeing more, I think, more medium to large manufacturing. With the spec warehouses, we're seeing it's a lot easier for, a project to be able to just, find a broker and find that building. So some of those, were a Fat Brain Toys fulfillment center maybe in the past would have reached out to us. Now they can just reach directly out to R&R and get things rolling there. So we'll continue to see, I think, a lot of manufacturing. The difficult thing will be finding jobs when they ask for, 100 plus skilled folks to work in those. That's certainly tough. And then finding sites for them as well continues to be difficult. Let's see, just other kind of broad notes. I mentioned that kind of that wage. So talking to companies, I guess labor force continues to be the major issue. There was one company I did talk to. They have about 300 workers. They said they're about 99% full. Their starting wage for kind of production staff is $17.50 an hour, and they revisit that every November to make sure they're staying competitive. So that's kind of, I think, the baseline. If you want, those warehouse associates, those production workers, you're gonna have to start paying in that range. But that is kind of the update I have. So I don't know if there's any questions or anything I can take back.
When you say the $17.50 per hour, are they providing a full benefit package as well?
Yes. Yep.
A very competitive package?
I believe so. Yeah, full benefit. So.
Okay.
When it comes to multifamily versus, single family, is there a ratio that we should be looking at with regards to numbers?
Like as far as what's ideal, or I'm guessing the housing study would have some information there. I don't know off the top of my head. I mean, it's
If you could research and let us know what the ratio is right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there's an optimal ratio, but it sure seems like there's a lot of multifamily going up.
Yeah.
I know some of that has to do with the affordability of housing in Sarpy County, but I was just curious if there was a proper mix for community development, from a community development standpoint.
Yep. I can certainly
Thanks.
look for that information.
Any other questions? Okay, thanks,
All right,
Josh.
thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Okay, all the agenda items have been addressed as published, and the Board of Commissioners is adjourned. Thank you for coming.